Welcome back to the We Cultivate Wealth podcast. I am your host, Sequita Collins. Today, y'all, I'm coming on, and I did not want to talk to you guys about this, but through this process of cultivating wealth, and I have to share with you guys this. And I know you guys probably looked at the title and like, wow, okay. So let me see, where do I begin? I guess I can go back to January 28th. I just knew it's like that day my life changed forever. Not that it was something huge, traumatic experience, but just information that I received kind of just changed my life forever. And I was never the same. And when I say never the same because at that point I had had some things revealed to me, and I started kind of reflecting back over my life and kind of seeing, the decisions I made, why I was in the position I was at that time, which has led me to this, being homeless at 47 years old. And what I realized, even toward the very end of 2023, is that for most of my life, that I had been just chasing accomplishments, chasing money, chasing jobs, just it's like seeing for years that I was just moving from place to place, whether it was a state, whether it was a position, whether it was just a mental and an emotional state within myself. I was like a wanderer, a vagabond, just searching for something that I didn't quite know what it was. And yes, I had made goals for myself. And when I reached those goals early on in my life, like 10 years ago, I was like on this mountain peak, as I've always explained it, with peaks and valleys, where I was up there and I was looking around and I was like, oh, okay, so I'm here, and I'm here. Now what? Now what? It was like, okay, I had accomplished most of the things that I had set out to do, only to be at a place where they really mine. At that time, like, is this really what I desired, what I wanted? And I still continue to do what I do, but I just remember having that conversation with myself, and I just wasn't the same after that. And once COVID came, I did change careers. I've changed careers twice since COVID, and it's been 4 years since the beginning, 4 or 5 years since the beginning of COVID. That season, since the pandemic, and I'm still was kind of in the valley. I wouldn't even say on a peak during that time, kind of just in this valley, like, okay, is this what I want? I was an educator, entrepreneur, all these certifications and degrees, and it's just, they still weren't fulfilling. It's like I would work so hard over a few years to get them, and then once I got them, it's like, it's like, like, I got it. So what do I do with this? And I think for a lot of times, it was like the thrill of chasing and going after the goals and accomplishing them. And then once I achieved it, then it was like, what do I do next? And I do have a few notes just so I can stay on track. And I guess for me is in this process of searching for something, and the accomplishments and all of those things, I realized those were things above the water on the surface. But what was below was that I was searching for these I was searching for physical things, grabbing hold of physical, tangible things, but it was really a spiritual void. And I did not understand it at the time. I was just trying to meet a spiritual need through physical things, if that makes any sense. Only to find out, like most of us in our life, or you may not be there yet, where you are filling your life with the physical things. Whether for me, it was accomplishments, it was goals, it was position and status, it was money, you know, and it just got to a place where God just kind of shut off everything. Just kind of, maybe he shut it off, or he allowed things to be shut down, because it was like, you keep running. This is my interpretation, that God said, you know what? I have let you run amok and do what you wanted to do for damn near 30 years of your adult life. And now it's time for you to do what I desire you to do. So I'm going to have to shut down everything that you going after you desire. I'm going to have to shut it down. And this is so many things, guys, you know, if you just listen to some of the previous podcasts, it is so many things round up in here. I realized that, yes, I'm searching, you know, for the physical things, trying to feel a spiritual need that I didn't know that I needed until January 28th this year. And when it became just like this change, I still didn't know what I was looking for or what I was going after. But and it's so amazing, because I haven't been by myself. I've had some amazing sister friends that have been on this journey, and even some that I've picked up on this journey with me. And my best friend, we noticed that God kind of put things in parallel, that we're going through the same things kind of together. One person may be a little further, the other person is coming up the rear, coming up, you know, with that. So we've been able to glean from each other and learn and kind of go through this process together. But I want to share with you guys what was dropped in my spirit. I'm actually recording this on Monday, October the 7th, just to let you know. So this weekend that just went by is that even after January 20, let me go back. January 28th was something happened. And in that process, within the next coming like 30 to 60 days, it started with me really looking at my family history, my maternal family history. And what I found is a lot about my family, and just kind of listening to some of the stories and different things. And I started looking at generational curses. Now, I've talked about breaking generational curses probably for 5 or 6 years. But when I tell you, I hadn't even broke the surface of breaking generational curses until this year. And I'm going to tell you, like, I've lost a lot of things since January 28th. Since I started on this journey, I've lost a lot of things: money, position, status, possessions, a lot of things that I had gained over the years that acquired during my seasons of pride and chasing these physical things. And what dropped in my spirit is, I'm in a season of breaking generational curses, and it goes way even deeper. And I mean, that's a whole series by itself. So I'm just going to keep it surface. And it required me to lose everything that I had acquired under the guise of searching for all of these physical things, if that makes sense. And God was like, you cannot hold on to anything. Guys, when I tell you property, house, rental property, positions, delays in positions, redirections or rejections, and just a lot of things that you, in my mind, I was like, I know I got it. I know that's mine. I know I can do this. Even the things of going after my accomplishments, going after anything, I'm able to normally accomplish it and get it done. And it's just like everything has been like a delay. It has been like a stop, like it's a no, or just a door has shut. Like doors are being shut and then the doors are disappearing. It's a wall. They're not there anymore. So I can't even try to open them if I wanted to. And I think I received and did a lot of things out of order. And I'm going to tell you, out of order is disobedience. A lot of where I am is disobedience. And I've talked about it here. And disobedience. Because God has dropped in my spirit to do this, to go here. And I'm like, nope, I want to do this. And in some cases, I've been like, I didn't even know it was God's voice, but it was something, we may call it instinct. Like, you're supposed to do that, but I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And there are consequences. There are consequences to disobedience. And the consequences have been dire for me and my family. And just leading us to where we have to leave, where we live, and we are homeless, which means that no, we will not be on the street, but we have to move in with a family member. And we have to, when your family has to move in with a family member, and even being without traditional employment, it's rough, it's hard. I have already cried about it, but the last redirection or rejection that I got, that kind of just let me know that it was time to, God is like, you were supposed to go where I'm telling you to go over a year ago, and you did not go. And when I realized this on Thursday, what happened is I just felt like everything, the world. But in that moment, immediately, I was sent to, was it 2 Samuel? I cannot think of the right now. Don't have it written down. But I'm going to tell you, it was the place in the Bible where David, the child that he had with Bathsheba, God struck the child ill. And during that time, David was face down. He was praying. He was worshiping. He was, just pretty much petitioning to God, please don't let my child die. After 7 days, the child died. When the servants or what have you came to let him know, he asked that the child die. Immediately, David got up, washed his face, anointed himself, cleaned himself up, and prepared to eat. And that's exactly where God sent me to. That it was like maybe verses 19 to 23, maybe 2 Samuel chapter 10. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it was to that place, okay? And I had to read it over and over again. And then he sent me to Proverbs 21, where it says, the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, just like the waters. He turns it whichever way he wishes. I'm paraphrasing all of this. And I had to read those scriptures over and over. I had to keep going. 2 Samuel, Proverbs 21. I had to go back and forth. And that's why I couldn't have the breakdown that I know I would have had a year ago or even 10 months ago. And It was like, dust your face off. You have been disobedient. You knew this was coming. Don't try to act surprised. These are the consequences. So it's up to you. What are you going to do next? Now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do next. I'm going to delight in the word of God, because what I realized what was missing all these years, my grandmother telling me about the Bible, I'm going to church, they're doing the Bible study or the pastor is preaching, but I never really read that word for myself and meditated on it. And what has been since Thursday, a couple days ago, what has been being dropped in my spirit is, you got to, one, read that word for yourself. So what I've been doing is going back through the Bible, thinking about the stories of people that they heard God's voice. Because that's in line with being obedient. I got to know when God is speaking. I have been busy for so many years, for nearly all of my adult life. I have been busy chasing, accomplishing, getting this, doing that. Can't sit still, nomadic, vagabond, wanderer. That has been me. Searching. So now he has set my butt down. He is saying, I'm going to need you to sit down, and I need you to delight in my word, because the only way you're going to know my voice, if you get in that word and you can hear where I have spoken to David, where I have spoken to Samuel, where I have spoken to Moses, where I have spoken to Paul. And it has just, I still have to take a deep breath just thinking about it. I still have to take a deep breath. I still have to pause. I still have to take it all in. But I am going to tell you this. And I'm going to share this entire process of even, where we're going and everything, is that I'll close with this. I know that this season of my life is a gift. It's a gift. It may not have been the one that I would have asked for or wanted, but it is a gift. One, because I am building and strengthening my relationship with the Father, with God. I am learning to hear his voice. He has slowed me down to delight in his word, to listen for his voice, to be obedient, for him to guide my steps. And y'all, a lot of what I'm telling you, when I go back and I think about the dreams that I've had this year, and I think maybe 2 months, it's probably been two and a half months that I've been recording my dreams that I can remember. And what I'm realizing is a lot of things that were happening in my dreams, it happened in real life, if that's what we want to say, in the physical, in real life. And that's why I say, like, all the signs was posted on the wall. They were there plain as day for me to see, but I wasn't as in tuned as I am becoming now, where I'm like, wow, this was coming. And I knew it, to be honest, deep down somewhere, I knew it. I may not have understood it. I knew it. So I know that this season of my life is a gift. So I have to find a way that it is not in vain, if that makes any sense. I have to find a way, Lord, through everything that you're teaching me right now. And I keep a record of the teachings, the lessons that I receive, dates. I keep that when they come to mind, when they drop, and I write them down so that I can go back and like, wow, okay, back in May, back in July, back in June. Now I see the correlation as to where I'm here now. But this is definitely a way that this can be a blessing. And I'm sitting in this season and I'm deciding to surrender and say, Lord, what is it that I need to understand? I need to get what I desire to feel, everything I was trying to feel, that spiritual need with you and no longer with possessions and things. And it's a new way of life for me. And it's new. And I'm willing and I'm ready because I have no choice. I'm willing and I'm ready to go through this process and for God to do what he has to do with me into the process so that I can become the woman that he has designed me to be. And that's what I can say, is to become the woman he has designed. He has always intended for me to be, so that I can be catapulted to where I would have been in my life had I always filled him, the spiritual need with him, if that makes sense. I'm going to go for now. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll be back. Bye.